Wanna be free of this heart, yeah.
What's up guys, it's Subsy here, and as we know, phone speakers have got generally better across the years. They may not be front facing all the time and they may be just incremental improvements, but in general they have gotten better. And I say in general because in terms of hardware at least, the Pixel 5 speaker is quite poor. I mean, to put it nicely, the Pixel 4a 5G, which is cheaper and more budget oriented than this, has a better speaker. The Pixels from last year and the years before, and the Pixel 2 XL from 3 years ago has better speakers than this, and so many other phones have better speakers. But as we know, with Google, they don't really need to do too much with the hardware because they have like a lot of AI software stuff going on behind the scenes. And with the Pixel 5 and some of the other Pixel phones, including the Pixel 4a and 4a 5G, they have released something new which is called adaptive sound, and I've been using that for a few weeks now. Since it pretty much came out, I've had it on pretty much all the time, and now I'm accustomed to it, and I just wanted to make this video to see if it's clear the difference or not. So if I was to switch it off, will I understand the difference? Will I know that it was actually working in the background? Is it as obvious as the Google Pixel camera, where that's like amazing for the hardware? Is this going to be amazing for the hardware of the speaker, considering it's pretty much a single firing bottom speaker? The other one doesn't really do anything, so is it going to be that much of a difference? Well, I guess we'll find out. So the format for this sort of sound test for the Pixel 5 speaker is going to be with a few different types of audios and a few different environments or situations for this phone to be in. So one is going to be the phone freestanding as it is, another one's going to be flat on the desk, another one is going to be within a case, so that might muffle it a tiny bit even though it's got cutouts for it, and another one is going to be inside a glass, because why not? You may do that. So I'm just going to see how it handles each of them, and at varying volumes, because they do say that adaptive sound is better for lower volumes, because once you get to the higher sounds or towards 100%, you have pretty much maxed out the capacity of the physical hardware. If you're on the lower bound, like say 30 to 60%, you still have room to play in terms of like adjusting the sound signature that comes out of the speaker. But as soon as you hit the 100%, you're maxed out and you can't really do much AI tuning to make it sound better at that volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to make too many judgments about the sound myself. I'm just going to give my opinions, and then I'm going to let you guys decide per track what you think is actually, you know, happening, if it's noticeable enough to you, if you think that it just degrades the sound or makes it better. So the setup for this is I'm going to record my own sound or my voice with the Rode microphone, but any audio that comes out of the Pixel 5, because I want you to understand more of the sound that's coming out of it, so you want more detail, I'm going to switch over for that to the Blue Yeti microphone, and then I'll switch back and forth, and I'll leave something in the corner to tell you what it's recording from, and I'll do the same for each type of thing that the phone is in. So let's get started. Let's start recording the screen so you guys can actually see what's happening, see when I turn it on and turn it off. Okay, so now I'm recording the screen and I'm recording all the audios. So I'm going to go through a few different types of sounds, so like from like house music to like acoustic music to hip-hop type music, and audio, sort of voices, just to see what it sort of captures and what it sort of brings out in different adaptive modes, or the adaptive mode that it has. Let's just get started with the first track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the volume for this track to around 30% or so, and I'm going to hold it up to the actual microphone. Let's do that. Okay, I'm going to turn that up to 100%, or not 100%, 60%, and then I'll see the difference there, because there is a slight difference. It doesn't seem like much, but maybe that's because we can't hear it enough. And again, that's the limitation of this speaker. Right, I'm gonna stop that there. Let's go to the next track before I comment. There is a slight difference there, but it seems like this is not that much. Again, this is 60% volume-ish. Okay, with that I can clearly see that there's not much difference. There's a tiny bit more on the low end. But that's like a lack of issue with the physical size of the actual speaker, because that's where you get more low end. Let's turn to some soul, so we should get some good audio voice tests.
Struck by lightning, don't hide it, no, don't hide it, no. Soulless man, do you feel it? Love hurts more when you're in it, yeah.
Let's go to the next track. There is a slight difference in the speaker quality, it seems. So it seems like when it's off, it gives the impression that the speaker's at the max volume, and it's sort of move that out of the way. It seems like it's reached its capacity, and it's at the point where it's now tinny. As soon as you turn it on, it seems like the speaker has a bit more way to go, and you know, the bass is brought up a tiny bit more, so you hear the low ends in the vocals. Let's move to the next track for that.
When it's you and I, we can have the world. See us coming like left, right, oh. Are you the same? Are you the same? Are you the same? Same. I'm on it. I'm on it. Are you the same?
Again, that seems to be pretty much the same as the previous one, where it's a tiny bit better in the low ends and you get less of the tinniness. It's not a massive difference, but again, bearing in mind I'm holding this up, there's not much feedback going into the microphones from like reverb and stuff like that. Having said that, this entire room has a tremendous amount of reverb, so it's handling that pretty well. Let's keep going with this, and then I'll switch over to having on the desk, and that is where I think the biggest difference is going to come.
Say it loud, wake the world on the other side, make it real, just let yourself go, just let go, ooh, just let go, oh yeah, just let go, ooh, just let go, just let yourself go. We're holding back each other in the things we do. It's all so blue. Yeah, what if we could grow just like the flowers through the concrete? Just you and me. Hold me now, tell me things, tell me all about how you feel. Just let yourself go. Say it loud, wake the.
That's a nice song. The difference there isn't that dramatic. That was barely noticeable. I only noticed it once. Alright, what I'm going to do is actually switch from this position because it seems like maybe this is going to be where the least impact is. So let me switch to on the table and then rerun some of these and do some other ones. Alright, so let's jump into the house music, for example. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so it sounds like when you're comparing two sets of very similar headphones. So like when you compare the Bose QC35s to the Bose 700s, and they're so similar, but there's slight differences. And in some tracks you can pick them up, in some you can't. It seems like it impacts the low end way more than the vocals and the mids. Let's play some more. Back to soul.
Tell yourself it's so absurd. For letter words, for letter words. I hate it when you're like this. You never get excited. Did you get struck by lightning? Don't hide it, no. Are you the same? Are you the same? Or can we get comfortable? I don't really like going out. It makes me uncomfortable. Comfortable, yeah. We could be chilling on the sofa, or cooking in the kitchen like left, right, oh. Are you the same?
So again, it gives way more range to the vocal or his sound, his voice. It gives him more of a depth. And I think that's the key here. Everything has more of a depth to it. Sometimes it's not too noticeable and it seems like it's not. So imagine just applying a equalizer to a specific genre that you like. So say you like hip hop and you apply a hip hop equalizer in Spotify. It's like that, but it seems like every sound signature that it hears, it applies a different kind of equalizer, so it's in no minds like an amazing thing. It's basically like an AI version of an equalizer where it does it itself and it adapts to the sound. Let's listen to something more acousticy. This one has quite a big difference. So in case you didn't realize, this one sounds like a lot more well-rounded per se. So I'm looking at Audacity recording this microphone and I can see the difference in the recording. It seems like for this type of sound on this type of surface in this type of room, it has a bigger impact than anything we've seen so far. So what I'm going to do is turn it to around 50% and see what that does to this. Yeah, this track is definitely the one it's had the most impact with so far. I'm going to turn it back up to around 60 and listen to a different track. Let's go to this, like a proper acoustic track.
This heart, yeah. Wanna feel your arms around me. I need you more, need you here, more than I would like to admit. Let's forget about tomorrow, yeah.
Okay, I just want you guys to listen to the guitar sound in this, and his vocals obviously, but listen to the guitar.
Should I hide away forever? Should I close my eyes and never again hold you tight, call you mine, think about you every time? I remember that it's over, yeah. You never break, you never lie, you never ever scared of the dark. So why am I the one who cries? I'm so afraid to be left behind.
That is, in my mind, a big difference. Like, okay, I expected it to have like a difference in the low ends, for like stuff like bass heavy stuff or like hip hop or rap or like anything that uses like low end frequencies more. I didn't expect it to have that much of a difference in guitar sounds, but it sounds like they have a lot more depth. It's quite apparent in acoustic songs, and I mean, if you listen to acoustic songs, this is awesome.
It's great. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah. I always knew that this would happen. Yeah. You would find a new distraction.
Okay, so the difference in his voice to me sounds like when somebody's going through puberty and their voice is breaking versus their voice has broken. When you turn adaptive sound on, he's a full-grown adult, his voice has broken. There is more of a depth, there's more of a range to his vocals. In the other one, it's sort of like a, not really crackly sound, but it's more of a, like a midway between high pitch and low pitch. It's just sort of like there. It's quite a big difference in this song. So let's get to the more important test, doing it in a case, because lots of people are going to use it in a case, and I'm going to focus on just a few tracks here, because I know this video is getting quite long, but I'm going to hold this, no, I'm going to put it down, because most people are going to put this down on the table when they're listening to stuff. They're not going to hold it up, and as you've seen, the biggest difference so far has come when it seems like deflections from the audio on the table are coming out and it's recorded them in the microphone. I'll go over how adaptive sound actually works after these tests, because it's not as simple as you think. So let's just, let's get back to this one, my favourite one for now. Also, his voice is like amazing.
Stop. Yeah. You never lose an argument. So I've been trying hard to pretend that I'm okay. It's just a phase. And everything is going just great. I think about you a lot.
Yeah, as expected, that sounds a lot better. To be fair, this case doesn't block a lot of sounds, but the way sound waves travel, it does get muffled around the edges a tiny bit, but not enough to make a difference. Or maybe it made a difference to the adaptive sound. Maybe it didn't. Let's go with another track. Let's go with something that we haven't listened to yet. So, something completely different, which may make a difference. Start with it off. That was quite a big difference. This is sort of more like trap music. That was noticeable. Again, that has a lot of like drum type stuff, a lot of bass in it. That made much more of a difference than some of the other stuff. Again, the biggest sound difference was with acoustic stuff, in my opinion. I'm going to give all of these like sounds as they come out from the microphone. So the way I'm going to edit this is I'm not going to do the same sound profile that I do for this microphone. What I'm going to do is just do basic noise reduction and give it as it was recorded from this microphone, and the gain from this is set around what, 20% ish, so it's not that high. So let's do the final test, and this is just going to be a quick one in a cup. Let's see if this makes a difference. Let's pick something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some soul music, just to get the mood going. It sounds better already.
Are you the same? Are you the same? Can we get comfortable? I don't really like going out. It makes me uncomfortable. Comfortable, yeah. We could be chilling on the sofa, or cooking in the kitchen like left, right, oh. Are you the same? Are you the same?
There is a bit of a difference there. I think it's a bit more than when it was on the table. So it seems like holding it in the air made next to no difference. On the table, it made a tiny bit of difference. Here it makes a bit more of a difference. It seems like it's catching some sort of a reverb sound in the microphones and then adjusting it based on that. Let's just quickly jump into the one that we had next to no difference at all. Let's do it. Okay, not much of a difference there again. Let's go back to the one we had the most difference with. Let's do it.
So am I the one who cries? I'm so afraid to be left behind. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop. Can't stop. Yeah. You never lose an argument. So I've been trying hard to pretend that I'm okay. It's just a phase, and everything is going just great. I think about you a lot. It's almost like I can't stop.
Alright, that's enough of all of that. Okay, that one, the last one, never had much of a difference, and I think this plays into like what adaptive sound actually is. So it's not like an equalizer that's just preset and applied to this, and that's that done deal, because that would just be like a profile basically. It's not that. So what adaptive sound is meant to do, and I say meant to because I can hear the differences where it is doing that, but if you're expecting this to go from like average or bad to impressive and amazing, it's not that, because there are still physical limitations with what a speaker can do. I mean, the driver is just so small and the positioning isn't the best and there's no like stereo sound to it, so there's no separation. Having said that, what adaptive sound does is it's meant to listen to the surroundings. And what I mean by that, it doesn't listen to like background noise to try and drown out the background noise and produce a white noise for that. It's not meant to be like noise cancelling for that. The way I understand it is it picks up what it delivers. So what I mean by that is it listens to the speaker's output, so it knows what it's meant to play. It knows the sound that's meant to come out of it. It listens to that sound and tries to adjust to make that sound more like the sound it's meant to be. So imagine you're in a bathroom and you've got tons of reverb and everything sounds really tinny, but it knows that's meant to have lots of low end in it. It's meant to have like a deep voice coming out of it because that's the sound signature that it knows it's meant to put out. Then it would adjust that signature or put an equalizer on that to match that as close as it can. That's why it doesn't happen instantly when you press the button. If you listen closely, a lot of the adjustments happen like a second after you click the button because it's listening. And it's not like when you click it on, it gets the profile and leaves it there. It's meant to be continuously adapting and it's listening all the time basically when it's on. Now that may sound scary, but it's not listening for like voices. It's listening to its own sound. And again, it is using the microphone, and it's not 24/7. I'm guessing they do it periodically, because if they had it on all the time, that would drain battery. But you can see the differences in different sort of environments that it was in, and different sounds that were coming out of it, how it played into that, because not all of the low-end tracks with bass had a difference. Because if it was just every sound had more bass, or every sound had more low-end depth, that would just be easy. Oh, it's an equalizer, stick it on, done, deal. But this wasn't that. It had a different sound image profile for everything that I turned it on for. And I think it is working and doing what they said. It's just in my mind, I hoped for more. I hoped for a better sound output in total. I still hope for the Google Pixel 2 XL speakers to come to the next Pixel, or the Pixel 5 XE, or the Pixel 5 Pro, or whatever they call it. As it stands, this speaker is still really good at decent volumes. It's just not good if you want to use it in, say, the bathroom when you're having a shower, or something like in the kitchen. If you're walking around the house and you want music playing, it's okay for some stuff, decent for YouTube. And again, this adaptive sound isn't just for an app. It's for any output that the phone has. So any video that you play, any sound that you play out of this, whether it's a podcast or you recorded a lecture or something, that playback would be different with adaptive sound on, or should be different. And by that I mean it should be more to what it should be in terms of like the recording signature. So it made a difference. Did it make a huge difference? Well, that's down to you guys. You guys have the audio as I listen to it, and I know it's not the same when it comes from a microphone, but it's as close as I could get. And of course, it's not scientific in any way. I didn't measure anything. This is purely so you can hear it and see if it makes a difference. And also so you can get a sound for what the Google Pixel 5 speaker actually sounds like. Because in my earlier video, I don't think it was clear enough using this microphone and what it was actually giving. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you have a Google Pixel 4a 5G? And if you do, how is it on that? Because that's meant to have a better driver for the audio in the first place. So that's going to sound better with this. Let me know how that sounds. Can you guys actually hear the difference through the microphone? Let me know in the comments below. So in general, I am pleased with the sound that comes out of this. It's just I do want more. I want more of a volume to it. I want more separation between the left and right channels. And of course that can't actually happen unless you have two physical speakers. This only has one, and that's the one. The other one is like a fake cutout to make it look symmetrical, and the earpiece speaker is not really a speaker. It's sort of like a half screen vibration technology thing. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And as always, it's been Subsy here, and I'll see you guys next time.
I can't stop.